Bonjour, comment allez-vous? I hope you're having a great time, and it's after a long break that we're catching up. So we have done a few changes based on the feedbacks that we received, and let's move into our session. Before that, let's have a small recap of all that we did in our previous sessions. So we looked into Article Défini, which is le, la, les. We did Article Indéfini, which was un, une, des. Then we had Article Contracté, which is the shortened or the contracted versions of different articles. We'll be moving forward and looking into a similar kind of article, which is the fourth one, but this is pretty simple now that you know the other three, all right? So, le quatrième article, which we'll be talking about, is article partitif. So, we need to look into what this new kind of article is, and also as part of this session, we'll be looking into dialogue or conversation. Without any further delay, let's begin our session. So article partitif is used to say some or any. Alright, it's always used with la préposition de. And just like other articles here also you will see that there are masculin, féminin, pluriel and all these coming into play. Let's go one by one so that we understand avec des exemples. So you have du poulet. Poulet is chicken. So du poulet means some chicken. Poulet is masculin and that is why it's de plus le becomes du and that's why it's du poulet. Next one we have de la glace. Glace is ice cream. So de la glace is some ice cream. Now you would see de plus les, des. So you have des carottes. Carotte is a very relatable, carrots. So you're talking about some carrots. Try to understand the next one. Nom qui commence avec des voyelles. You would have gotten it, right? So we're talking about nouns which start with vowels. And in that case, we're talking about de l'apostrophe. That is how we have de l'eau. Okay, de l'eau. O is water. So de l'eau means some water. You'll also see something similar with the letter H. So for example, de l'huile. That means some oil. So you can replace all the words that we saw now in these sentences and make similar sentences. So vous voulez le poulet means do you want the chicken, and vous voulez du poulet means do you want some chicken. So there's a huge difference what you're talking about here. Also remember this verb vouloir. So vouloir means to want. And when we go into verbs conjugations, we'll understand how these are conjugated depending on the person. So now we're talking about négation. So what happens when you use article partitif in a negative sentence? When I say negative sentence, what does it mean? I like is a positive sentence, right? I do not like is negative. In French, the most important words we use for negation or négation are ne pas. Also, I had mentioned this to you earlier. Ne and pas will come on either sides of the verb. Je ne veux pas, je ne mange pas. These are some examples. Coming back to article partitif in négation. So, what we will see is that irrespective of if the object is masculin, féminin or pluriel, you will not have ne pas de la, ne pas du, ne pas des. All this is wrong. It will always be ne pas de. Okay? For a negative sentence, you will always have de. Alright, let's go into the sentence here. Je ne veux pas. Je ne veux pas means I do not want. The first one is je ne veux pas de fromage. Fromage is cheese. So here it does not mean I do not want some cheese, but it means I do not want any cheese. Next one is je ne veux pas de glace. It's not de la glace. It's je ne veux pas de glace. I do not want any ice cream. We have je ne veux pas de tomate. Although you see here that tomate is pluriel, we don't say je ne veux pas de les tomates or des tomates. You say je ne veux pas de tomates. And the final one is je ne veux pas d'eau. Okay, so this is something you're going to enjoy, I'm pretty sure. We are going to have a dialogue or a conversation by using all what we learned in these articles partitifs. Alright? So this takes place au restaurant. Now that should be clear to you. Au restaurant. Personne 1 is the waiter. So in French we say le garçon. Alright? And personne 2 is the customer. Bonjour, je peux vous assister? Means hello, may I help you? And personne 2 says oui, bien sûr. Bien sûr is of course. And then le garçon says all the options that he's got. So nous avons de la viande et du poisson ce soir. Nous avons means we have. De la viande. Viande is meat. Et du poisson. Poisson is fish. Ce soir means this evening. So this means we have meat and fish this evening. Ah non, je n'aime pas de viande. Notice how it's de la viande in the previous sentence, and here you will see it's de viande. So that's because there's a négation. Je ne mange pas de viande. Right? Et je n'aime pas le poisson. So now the question comes. Why is it not je n'aime pas de poisson? Well, that should have been the logic, right? Let's just rewind a bit to understand where do we use partitif. So partitif is to talk about a part of something, or you're saying some, okay? So you basically want to say I don't like fish, not I don't like some fish or I don't like a part of the fish. That's not what you mean. When you don't like something, it's a general statement, right? So that is why it will be je n'aime pas le poisson. I just generally don't like fish. And the customer continues the conversation saying, Vous avez du poulet? Do you have some chicken? Oui. Et pour dessert? And for dessert? Je veux du gâteau et un éclair, s'il vous plaît. So je veux is again I want. Du gâteau. Gâteau is a cake. So je veux du gâteau et un éclair. Now here I'm not saying d'éclair. I'm saying un éclair. That's because it's countable. Something where you can count. So when you can mention the number, we don't have to use partitif in these cases. So I can say je veux 2 éclairs, 3 éclairs. But if I want a part of something, then I will need to use partitif. So in a restaurant, I cannot say I want un poulet or I want 2 poulets because it means you want 2 full chicken or 3 full chicken, right? That you don't usually ask them like that. You would tell them I want some chicken. Continuing the conversation, ce sera tout means that will be all, and the customer says oui, merci. There are 4 main verbs that you should keep in mind when it comes to not using partitif. Because most of the sentences or phrases that come after these verbs would be general statements. You remember je n'aime pas le poisson last time? Right? So similarly, we have 4 verbs that we're talking about here. And the first one is aimer. So you have an example, which is j'aime le vin. So that's a general statement. I like wine. J'aime le vin. And je n'aime pas l'eau. I don't like water. Je n'aime pas l'eau. Next verb is détester, which means to hate. You can follow the example and get different sentences using these 4 verbs. Alright, so I'll give you an example. Je déteste le vin means I hate wine. Another one, je déteste le café means I hate coffee. The next verb we're talking about is préférer, means prefer. Okay, so I prefer ice cream. That's again a general statement. So it's not I prefer some ice cream, I prefer any ice cream. You're not specifying there and you're not talking about a part of it. It's just generally you prefer ice cream. And the next verb, the final one is adorer. To adore, to love, okay? So j'adore le café, j'adore le thé. All this is valid. Well, that's it for this session. I hope you learned something and it was helpful. Catch you in the next one. Au revoir, à bientôt.